Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Bob Mendelsohn, and this is the Bob's Your Uncle podcast. Of course, that's the music of J.S. Bach, his Air on the G string. And this is season 8, episode 10. It is a time to meet once again Christian Ray Flores. Born in Russia, lived in Chile, lived back in Russia, was a musician, a master's degree in economics. He's traveled the world. He lives now in Austin, Texas. And this is part 2 of his 2-part series. You're going to love this fellow. If you didn't get a chance to listen to last week, go back and then hear this one to finish.
Don't know much about history. Don't know much biology. Don't know much about a science book. Don't know much about the French I took. But I do know that I love you. And I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be.
On this date in history, the 30th of June in 1859, Jean-Francois Rabelais, known as Charles Blondin, crossed the Niagara Falls on a tightrope that was 330 meters long and 49 meters above the water. On this date, the Dominion of Canada was formed in 1867, that subsequently was celebrated as an annual Canadian holiday currently called Canada Day. On this date in 1934, the Night of the Long Knives, when Adolf Hitler had his SS guards summarily execute many leading officials of the Nazi paramilitary group SA and hundreds of other perceived enemies. While in 2019 at the DMZ, President Donald Trump walked into North Korea to greet its leader, Kim Jong-Un, thus becoming the first sitting U.S. president to visit that country. And in 1979, Sony began selling its Walkman, the portable cassette player, an international sensation. The device changed the way people listen to music, and that's the historical marker of the week.
I do know that I love you. And I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be.
Last week you met Christian Ray Flores, who lives in Austin, Texas, got a master's degree in economics, was a music celebrity in Russia, and has sold millions of records. He's a brand manager. There's so many things we learned about him last week. Just wait, we've got much more today. Let's pick up the rest of that interview here.
you know, and especially in the space of personal branding, where I go, you live in a free society. You can build whatever you want, and yet you choose to sort of blend in, be a cog in a machine, where you can be anyone. This is the country of you can be anyone. Why don't you build a brand? Why don't you do the work? Why don't you fill that skill gap and reach for the stars? It's shocking to me that you don't, because you have everything. You have the education, you have the background, you have the language, the cultural language. You fit in here. You can do so much with that. And it's shocking to me how many people underestimate what they can do.
Well, it's risk.
It is, yeah.
And that's the tough part. Let me ask you, did you grow up in a particular religion? And is that,
No, no, it's the opposite. I was an atheistic communist parents. That's it.
and so that's now in the past. Tell me about the tribe in Austin, Texas, and what role you play there.
Well, I planted that church 13 years ago, but I've been doing bivocational ministry work for 28 years, something like that. So I've been a pastor and an entrepreneur at the same time, most of that time. And I became a Christian at the peak of my career, and it just changed me so profoundly from the inside out that I just said, look, this is more valuable than any other thing that I can give to people. So I'm going to dedicate definitely a good portion of my life and my energy, my talent, and my abilities to help people have a spiritual journey.
When you say bivocational, that's a term that I understand, but not my listeners. They may not.
Yeah.
What does
Yeah.
that mean?
It's basically you can be a pastor and have a business or two businesses sometimes or three businesses sometimes. In my case, I have a nonprofit and a couple of businesses. So it's not an easy path, to be honest with you. And actually, by the way, I've transitioned out of leading a church almost a year ago, actually, almost exactly a year ago. And but it was the first time I've done it because I just realized I need to focus this time. It's the bane of my existence, not the ability to not focus on one thing.
Hmm. We self-distract.
Yeah,
Would
yeah.
you prefer on any given day to play music and sing quietly and privately there in your studio to the Lord, or would you prefer to lead a seminar for 500 CEOs?
I think I would prefer to lead a seminar for 500 CEOs. And the reason for that, I'm an actual introvert, right? Um, and so I have a very sort of very deliberate, very intentional contemplative practice and creative process, all of those things. So I have so much of that already, and it's not optional, right? Um, so to me, having an opportunity to impact people, it's just gives me a lot of joy. So it's the second thing, yeah.
Tell me, because you just mentioned it, what's your 20-minute morning routine and those three practices that set your day in proper motion?
Well, it's basically you move, you meditate, um, and you master a new skill. So those are the three M's, right? So moving, it's basically walking, running, lifting, moving, right? You have to exercise your body every week. It activates you. It activates you actually way beyond the muscles. It activates the cognitive part of you, the creative part of you as well. So that's non-negotiable. Meditate. It could be prayer. It could be listening to music, to worship music, listening to scripture. It could be meditation, and then master a new skill every single day. I listen to a podcast or read a book about something I want to get better at. And those three things combined happened in my life every single day, like with no exception. And it's an incredible combo. Those things everybody knows about those things. Uh, it's it's very few people that I see that do all three in combination, and it's fascinating how much of a force multiplier those things are if they're combined together.
Christian, do you have hope that the world will one day be a better place in your lifetime, even in the next 10 years? And if so, on what do you base that?
I think it is a better place already. I mean, we live in the most prosperous time in the history of humanity. That's objectively true. We live in the most peaceful time in the history of humanity. That's also objectively true. Like the amount of people involved, like the amount of armed conflicts going on, things like that are at the all-time low. It's a great time to be alive. And when we see sort of this chaos, the whatever political division, it's always been like that. We just feel it today. We feel it today in a particular because it touches that, right? It's people that are dysfunctional, people that fight, people to do bad things, etc. It's in the present that we feel threatened by it. But the truth is, the political climate has never been this sort of, you know, everybody gets along, everybody agrees on everything. It's just never been the case, especially in turning times in history where there's some sort of shift happening, either technologically or economically, things like that. There's always almost like a peak of that, but it goes down and then it goes back up.
Tell me about exponential. What is that?
Well, the Exponential is my personal brand strategy company, and we the word exponential is this idea that one person can have this multiplying effect in everything, income, in impact. And how do we learn how to do that? And more, I mean, if we had even a tiniest percentage of people build personal brands and understand how to leverage and how to become exponential, I mean, that would be a better world right away. I mean, there's so much human potential just wasted, you know, just not, they're invisible. I mean, brilliant people who do brilliant work. And the only people who know that know how amazing those people are the people in the room, maybe at the highest level in the industry, for example. Like you're like a regional and industry-wide celebrity. But the world has 8 billion people in it, right? You can do so much more. You can do so much across industries. And the gap to get there is just a few skills, basically, is understanding what the technology is, being motivated, believing that you have something to offer, knowing that there's an edge that you have that nobody else has, and then creating content and building your brand. More people should do it. I think everybody should do it. I would say, I would say it is a nice to have now. It's a must have tomorrow.
Hmm.
It's not optional, actually.
We are going to have a brand, even if it's lousy. We are going to communicate that brand, even if we're not very good at it. We're going to
Yep.
reach, as you say, the room. It could be the house. It could be the yard. It could be the neighborhood. We're gonna touch people for good
Yes.
or for ill. So what you want to do, exponential. I was a mathematics teacher. I know what this is. And it's explosive, and I like that. How can
Yeah.
people reach you and keep learning from and being in touch with you?
Oh, they can just Google me, Christian Ray Flores, and they'll see there's a newsletter that goes out every week, christianrayflores.com. And if you want to learn more, go to exponential.life. Exponential, it's spelled without an E, it starts with an X. Exponential.life is sort of the website for the company. And we do really cool stuff every month. We do webinars, we do challenges and things like that. So you can experience things in person with your particular thing that you want to build with us quite easily, actually, if you want to just look it up and sign up.
X without an E, ponential. Yesterday, as we record this on Monday, yesterday was Father's Day, and you have three beautiful daughters. Did you have a good day?
Yes, they got me. I asked for a brunch specifically at home to not be out there, but to be at home because we can talk and it's quiet. And I asked for crepes. So they got, we have a place nearby called Crepe Crazy, and everybody ordered their favorite crepe, and they brought it in, and we had this wonderful brunch. And the tradition is we eat good food and we share about the person we're trying to celebrate. So two of my daughters, my third one is a little bit far. She couldn't be there. She sent me a nice text. But two of my daughters and my niece was there. So all of them uh, wrote cards, very specific, very intentional cards of why they like me, and that's nice. So we
You
celebrated.
can't beat that. I love it.
Yeah,
And you're in Texas, right?
I'm in Austin, Texas.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. And so, we all have to do
Yeah,
whatever that
yeah.
is.
Hook 'em horns. Yeah.
Hook 'em horns. All right. Well, tell me, what final words would you like to share with the global Bob's Your Uncle audience?
I would say don't settle. You're brilliant. Let your brilliance shine. Don't settle. Just because it's hard to learn the skills that get you there, that's not an excuse. You have a responsibility. God gave you your gifts, the abilities. You have a responsibility. Let your light shine.
Beautiful. That's so great. Christian, I am delighted to have met you. I'm glad your offsider sent me a note and said, "Hey, don't forget this guy." And I'm really grateful. We've been doing this podcast for about 4 years, and I just love it when I get to meet people of significance. Everybody has significance,
Of course.
um, of significance that others might notice. And you're just a champion for the Lord and a champion for all these things that you represent. I really appreciate your time and wish God's good blessings on you this summer in Texas. Yikes, that's not easy.
It's actually great for me. I love heat. I've spent 20 years in the snow. I can take a lot of heat and be very happy.
In whatever weather we have, you're going to keep making a difference, and I appreciate your time. Shalom to you.
Shalom to you as well, Bob. Thank you.
Hey, let me let you know about the website called therealbobm.com. That's my new website, and you can go to it anytime and get the latest Instagram or Facebook, my blog. Everything is all on there. There won't be anything that I write about, communicate about, that you can't find there. It's all searchable. Things about Israel, things about Jewish people, my reflections after the Bondi massacre, on and on. So even Flickr, even all my photos, historical photos, you'll find it all there, therealbobm.com. And feel free to comment on any of those platforms or right here where you're listening to the podcast. There's so much to ponder, so many avenues to communicate in. I just want to be available to you and let you be available to me. So let me know what you're thinking. Would you do that? Thanks. What do you think about all this? Why don't you write to me, Bob Mendo at AOL.com, or comment right where you're listening to the podcast. Every week we read from the #1 bestseller of all time. That's the Bible. Today's no different. From Proverbs chapter 30. If you have done foolishly in lifting up yourself, or if you have thought evil, put your hand over your mouth. For as the churning of milk produces butter, and the wringing of the nose produces blood, so the forcing of wrath produces strife. So remember, when things seem bleak or uncertain, look up to God. He's in his heaven, and Bob's your uncle. Shalom from Nashville.